This person paid to get into my dressing room, okay? Yeah, he didn't pay me, by the way. He didn't pay me. I'm an honest hoe, okay? I made no money that day, all right? Yeah, if I would've gotten paid, you wouldn't be hearing this story. Here's the thing. I walk into my dressing room from the bathroom. I just finished showering up and I'm in a towel. I walk into the room, come to find out later that this man was a very wealthy businessman in the community, okay? And when I walked into the room, he's wearing a very, very nice suit. So when I saw the suit, I didn't give it a second thought because he looked professional. I thought maybe he was the general manager of the building, one of the concert promoters. He could have been someone's agent. So when I walked in the room and I'm like, Tao, can I help you? He looks at me and it was the most uncomfortable conversation I have ever had. He looks at me and says, listen. I am not here to waste any of your time. Fluffy, I am prepared to take care of you. I will give you a new Lexus and an allowance that's more than what you make as a comedian. Leave with me. I was never more disgusted and offended at the fact that I was not gay. Because finally, somebody wants to take care of me. Do you know how many people I take care of? No one's ever offered me a Lexus, and they should. I felt horrible saying no to this guy. I still think about it. I still have the number. Houston, I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't know how this is gonna go over, but I'm gonna say it. I would be an amazing gay partner. I would, all the way up until that one part, but even then. Have you ever driven a Lexus? Those are nice. Sometimes you gotta take one for your own team. I'm just saying. Now, in all seriousness, not to be funny, not to be disrespectful, let me tell you the reason why I would be an amazing gay partner. The level of communication between two men is so high, I might actually get an answer. There might be clarity and understanding. I might hear a yes, I might hear a no. Do you know how many relationships I have been in where I still don't know the outcome to certain conversations? Very simple yes or no questions. That's what I would do. Something as simple as, baby, you hungry? Well, I haven't eaten yet, so I probably should eat something, but I'm not feeling it right now. But if I don't eat right now, you know how I'm gonna get later. So I guess it's probably a good idea if I start eating right now. But it really depends on the options. What do you think? Ah! What about this one? Baby, where would you like to eat? You hear all the guys? Yeah. Finally! I'm not alone! Everybody's pointing at somebody right now. Guys, am I right? This has to be, you would think that this is the safest question in the world to ask, but it's not. Well, just pick something. You know me, I'm go with the flow. Whatever you decide is okay with me. You know me already, just pick something. All right, we're going to Burger King. I don't like Burger King. Why do we gotta go to Burger King? Burger King gives me chorro. Chorro is Mexican diarrhea. How about this one? How do you feel? Really? Really? You want to know how I feel? Well, you know, maybe if you'd pay attention from time to time, you might know how I feel. You might not need to have to ask me such a question because you would already know exactly how I feel. The amount of time and energy I've exhausted to let you know how I feel, and you have the nerve to ask me, how do you feel? Now imagine the exact same conversation between me and Mr. Lexus. Do you know how efficient that conversation would be? Hey, bro, you hungry? Thought you'd never ask. What do you want to eat? Whatever you want to eat. We're going to Burger King. I love Whoppers. Me too. We go to Burger King and we tear it up. We get back home and I ask him, hey, how do you feel? Horny. Me too. How do you want to do this? Heads or tails? It would be efficient. And speaking of whores, let me tell you where they put us up at. That's a bad segue. No, there's no whores at this hotel. Listen, I would like to personally thank the promoters for not only making this special happen, but for taking really good care of us. They put us at a hotel that's right across the street, you guys. And you know you're in a good hotel when you get inside of the elevator and it talks. It's one of those, you know?
First floor. Second floor. Third floor.
I'm like, man, she sounds hot.
Fourth floor. Fifth floor.
Oh, yeah. Martin asked me, how far are you going up? I said, all the way. I gotta see how this ends, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, you guys, since the last time we were here, I've had a few things change in my life. Some things happened that were so crazy that I couldn't even believe that it was a possibility. First thing that happened was I had my first ever celebrity death hoax, meaning that someone faked my death on the internet and it went viral. Someone wrote an amazing article that was read by over 30 million people that was so good, even I was like, oh my God, I was so nice. TMZ reported it for 30 minutes until they called my publicist and confirmed that I was still alive. The article said that I had died October 31st from complications of type 2 diabetes. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, that's a hell of a day to kill a diabetic. You know what I mean? That's like killing Santa on Christmas Eve. 30 million people read this article. No one thought to call me. Except Martin. That's right. Martin was the only one that called me. And I think that was just to verify that he still had employment. I got that phone call. Hello? Martin was like, hey, you dead? No, man, I'm good. I figured you would have texted me. And I would have, because that's the kind of friend I am, you know? I even asked my son Frankie, I said, Frankie, did you hear I died? That's what they meant. I go, what do you mean that's what they meant? Well, my friends were asking if you were okay. I go, what'd you tell them? I hadn't seen you. So, well, apparently I died. Welcome back. And that's another thing that's changed, you guys. My son Frankie is now 18 years old and 1 week away from graduation. You guys are clapping, but he's not leaving. I've already asked him. I said, Frankie, what do you want to do with your life? Have you thought about college? Just now. I'm like, Frankie, you do realize that all you need to do is get accepted. I tell a lot of jokes. I will pay for your entire college education no matter where you want to go. As long as you get accepted. What do you think about that? I say, you know, if you want to go to school in California, we'll make it happen. You want to go to school out of state, we'll make it happen. I said, hell, I'll even do one of those international programs. You know, the ones where you give them one of your children and then they give you one of their children? What is it called when you kid swap? Thank you, sorry. That's right, exchange. Some of you are like, that's called human trafficking. Different program. I would love to do an exchange program with my son, but don't give me a regular kid. If I'm gonna do an exchange program, give me a kid from like a hardcore third world country so that he appreciates all the basic things most American children take for granted. That's why I say, give me little Tombutu. Give me Tombutu. I would love Tombutu, and Tombutu would love me.
Mr. Fluffy,
Yes, Tombutu.
I was wondering, what time do we go to sleep?
You go to sleep whenever you like. This is your room. We sleep next door. All of this is for Tombutu? Yes, all of this is for Tombutu.
In my village, 2 families sleep in an area this big.
Well, here in America, one big-ass Mexican kid sleeps right here. Enjoy. And then I would take him to like IHOP or Denny's and let him order whatever he wants and just watch him lose it. You know?
This is the Thanksgiving I heard of. Thank you, Mr. Fluffy. Thank you. If there is anything Tombutu can do for you, please tell me. Anything.
Can you help me take out the trash?
For you, I will eat the trash.
Meanwhile, my son's on the other side of the world on top of an elephant trying to get Wi-Fi. I love my son very much, you guys. It's just that sometimes he doesn't get the position he's in. He doesn't realize it, which is why I love it whenever he brings his friends over. He brings his friends over the house and they're constantly saying what I'm saying. And as a parent, anytime you tell your kids something, that's one thing. When you can get their friends to say what you say, you can't pay for that. And they're always doing it. You know, Frankie, you're lucky, man. Your dad's trying to help you go to college. My dad wants me to get a job. Frankie, you're lucky, man. Your dad's trying to give you a car. My dad doesn't even trust me to walk. You're lucky, man. And I hear this and I'm like, I love these kids. Because see, my son is very numb to this situation. He's very numb to all of you, and he's very numb to Fluffy. Okay, he doesn't see Fluffy. He sees Dad. Dad. I'm just Dad. You know, I'm the guy that tells him, clean your room, take a shower, and put on deodorant, which he does very well now. But you guys saw what I had to do to make that happen. See, his friends, on the other hand, they still get excited when they see me. They still geek out. I walk into the living room, they're all sitting there. Frankie sees me. Hey, Dad. His friends see me. They see this. With like doves. Can you imagine if every time you walked into a room that happened?
He's here.
Ladies, imagine if your partner could do that for you. Huh? It's your anniversary, a celebration, some magical moment, or you're just laying there and you're drunk. And you're just like, what are you gonna do to me? What are you gonna do? One extra dove. And by the way, guys, if you're ever able to pull off the doves, just leave it at that. Don't try to top the doves. It's very hard to top the doves. Don't start running your mouth and talking smack. She's laying there, and don't start, you don't even know what's gonna happen to you. You don't even understand. You're gonna get it. Don't do that, because ladies, all you have to do is look at him and go, ah. We're trying to figure out this whole thing with Netflix and doing a new special. And during the pandemic, 2020 especially, it was not even a possibility of assembling a few people, much less a stadium. So Netflix made it clear, we need a new special sooner than later, okay? This was right before they didn't have Squid Games yet. You remember?
Red light.
Yeah. Some of you are like, that's racist. No, that's accurate. That's really good. So anyway, Netflix said as soon as there's an opportunity to record a new special, we need a special. So with time going by, there became two options for recording a special in late 2020. One was Florida, and the other was Texas. Some people from Texas cheering? Yeah? Okay. You could cheer all you want. That's where I got COVID. Yeah. Chingate esa. So here's the story. So I had done shows before, in Texas, and I had never done a show in San Antonio. So the original plan was we wanted to record a special in San Antonio for the new Netflix show, for the series. So we couldn't really travel too much. And remember, they kept telling us, stay in your bubble, stay in your COVID bubble. Don't forget to stay in your bubble. So in order to be as proactive and just careful, we all went out there together as a team, okay? And then we all basically said, we're going to do a residency in San Antonio for 30 days. 30 shows in 30 days. And on the last day, we'll record a new special. This way it gives me a chance to start performing again, because it'd been over a year since I touched the stage. And so we get there, and they gave me the option. Do you want to stay in a house or do you want to stay in a hotel? And I said, well, I've never lived in Texas before, so let's see what a house feels like. So they got us like this fancy Airbnb, and basically, it was Martin, Alfred, my friend Rick, myself. It was like four of us. It was like the Mexican version of the real world, okay? So we're all in this big house together. Everyone gets their own room. And so, of course, I get the big room because it's me. And, look at some. No. Yes. So I open up the door. I turn on the light. Click. And I'm like, this is a beautiful room. Wow, look how big it is. And then I notice there's a hole in the wall. And I said, that's weird. So I get really close to the wall. And when I got close, I realized it's not a hole. It's a big-ass roach. And let me tell you, I am not exaggerating when I tell you that cuca was this big. That roach was this big. Now, I have used this unit of measure before to exaggerate. And let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that freaking cucaracha was this big. And I don't want you guys thinking, oh, what, you think you're too good for roaches? No. I grew up with roaches my whole life. My mom and I, we lived in apartment buildings, projects. We always had roaches, but they were different. First of all, they were this big. And California roaches are very different. Okay? For example, when you turn on the light, they scatter. In Texas, he chilled. In California, they respond to sound and movement. Ah! Scatter. I tried my California technique on this Tejano roach. I said, ah! And the roach was like, what? Oh my God, I don't think he's in my room. I think I'm in his. And at that moment, my tour manager walks in the room and she's like, is everything okay with the accommodations? I said, no, the room is beautiful, but look at the wall. Aw, there's a hole in the wall. I said, get closer. She gets up to the wall and she's like, oh, it's a big ass roach. I said, you're okay with that? She said, he's not in my room. She can see that I'm visibly bothered by this roach. So she's like, would you like me to take care of your little friend for you? And it is a little emasculating because I'm a big guy and she's like 5'2". So she's like, move, fool. She takes off her shoes, she grabs it, she gets up on a chair, and she brings it back, and she's like, soy la 69. Bam! Nail that roach. Threw down her shoe, put it on. I look at the wall, and it kept moving. And I said, you have angered our friend. And she was like defensive. Fool, round two. So she grabs her shoe, gets back up on the stool, and she brings it back. And just as she's about to nail this roach for the second time, that shit started flying. It was a Harry Potter roach. Oh, man, mira. She's ñañeras, man. So anyway, we were there for 27 days. And for some reason, on the 27th day, out of a team of 30 people that were there to film a special, I was the only one that tested positive for COVID-19. No one else got it. Not Martin, not Alfred, nobody. And I told Martin, dude, I don't know where I got it. And he said, I think you got it from the roach. Anyway, on top of dealing with COVID, and by the way, a sincere apology to the city of San Antonio because I was supposed to tape a special with you guys, and clearly for obvious reasons we couldn't do it. But I hope you understand why I had to do this tonight. On top of dealing with COVID, the vaccine situation, I come to find out someone was trying to extort money from me. Yeah, and they weren't even family. So chingate esta, watch. I get a phone call from my manager telling me that someone reached out claiming to have video footage of me being inappropriate with models. Yeah, see? Look at it. You guys are like me. Yeah, I'm like, I need to see it too. Now, no disrespect to any woman who has ever given me the opportunity. But none of them were models. Maybe a couple of cochinas from West Covina, maybe. But they were not models. They were not models. They were just good citizens. Thank you. So anyway, they said I had until 9 a.m. to make a deposit of $50,000 into an account, or they were going to release the footage to TMZ and my career was going to be over. When I got the message, it was already 6 p.m. So I had missed the deadline by like half a day. So I was like, well, let me turn on the TV, still, see if I still got a job. And clearly this is the first time you guys are hearing about this because there was no footage. They were just trying to scare me into giving them money. The only reason why I'm telling you the story is because only 50,000? Like seriously, that's what my career's worth? Don't get me wrong. I know when I said 50,000, some of you were like, oh, and it is a lot of money. But if you're gonna go after a celebrity, $50,000 is really low. Like, to put into perspective, they did the same thing to Kevin Hart. And with Kevin Hart, they hit him for $10 million. $10 million, which lets me know where I stand on the comedy totem pole of success. There's Kevin Hart with $10 million, and I am like the Groupon of extortion.
Where'd you get your extortion? Got that shit at Ross. It was on clearance.
$50,000. You can't even buy an Escalade with $50,000. That is like a Hyundai Sonata at best, okay? And that's like a base model. Like, you still gotta do this shit to the window, $50,000. But